through the curtain. Alarm keeps ringing later than expected. Screen shows plans arranged in perfect columns. Every square demands a shining version. Heart beats faster than the kettle humming. Thoughts move quicker than the hallway running. Hands stay still against the bedroom doorway. Wonder how to start this day in my way. If a friend described this kind of weather, every breath would be a piece of effort. Every step from blanket to the kitchen would be proof that something bright is living. A softer morning just for me, half a cup and quiet balcony. No performance in this breathing, no audition in these feet. A softer morning just for me, let the sunlight fall and leave nothing broken. If I let this day begin at gentler speed. Later by a window near the station, coworker unfolds their obligations. Says their worth depends on how much progress. Counts achievements while ignoring softness. Memory returns from last November. Tiny room and trembling, I remember. Friends sat down and matched my worried breathing. Turned a heavy night towards slow relieving. If that scene belonged to any stranger, every note would call their heart a lantern. Every quiet hour beside that shaking would be named a gift that kept me waking. A softer morning just for me, half a cup and quiet balcony. No performance in this breathing, no audition in these feet. A softer morning just for me, let the sunlight fall and leave nothing broken. If I let this day begin at gentler speed. Turn the crowded schedule face down flat. Let the ink blur where it pushes back. Ask this breathing what would feel like mercy, not the rule that nothing can be easy. Every time these shoulders start to lower, every heartbeat landing slightly slower, signals rise from somewhere deep and tender, pointing toward a pace my frame can handle. A softer morning just for me, hold that sentence while I breathe. Pour clear water in a waiting glass, watch the gentle kitchen brightness pass. A softer morning just for me, when the next day comes to be. Feet can cross this narrow hallway space, carrying a kinder kind of grace. Rest softly on the pillow. Curtain edges shimmer pale and yellow. Screen glows faint along the bedside table. Messages can wait until I am able. Heart beats faster than the quiet hallway. Thoughts spill forward into every doorway. Hands stay resting on the cotton blanket. Wonder how to start this day more honest. If a friend described this kind of waking, every breath they took would count as brave. Every step from mattress to the kitchen would be something I would fight to save. I am learning to be kind inside to this chest that held the midnight tide, to these eyes that saw the ceiling swim, to these hands that kept the kettle lit. I am learning to be kind inside. Let my name sit near the warmer side. Nothing in this fragile morning light says my worth depends on getting everything right. Later by the window near the station, coworker unloads their accusations. Says they only speak in harsh religion when they talk about their own decisions. Memory drifts back to last November. Tiny room and trembling I remember. Arms wrapped gently round a shaking shoulder. Stayed until the air grew softer, slower. If that story carried now their label, every line would call their heart so able. All those hours inside that narrow night would be counted as a steady light. I am learning to be kind inside to this chest that held the midnight tide, to these eyes that saw the ceiling swim, to these hands that kept the kettle lit. I am learning to be kind inside. Let my name sit near the warmer side. Nothing in this fragile morning light says my worth depends on getting everything right. Turn the strict old handbook face to wall, let the ink blur down the crooked scrawl. Ask this breathing what would feel like mercy, not the rule that nothing can be messy. Every time these shoulders start to lower, every heartbeat landing slightly slower, signals rise from somewhere deep and tender, pointing where a softer script can enter. I am learning to be kind inside. Hold that sentence as the doubts collide. Pour clear water in a waiting glass. Watch the gentle kitchen brightness pass. I am learning to be kind inside. When the next day leans along my side, softly on the ceiling. Curtain edges shimmer quiet gold. Screen light silent on the crooked bedside. Messages can wait until they are told. Heart still carries fragments from the evening. Thoughts drift further than the bedroom door. Feet stay planted on the ruffled carpet. Breath hangs steady in the shadowed air. If a friend described this heavy waking, every step from sheets would feel like brave. Every pause before the daily shouting would be something worth the space it takes. Gentle is how I move forward from this narrow patch of floor. One small glass of water lifted, one slow hand upon the door. Gentle is how I move forward through the noise that waits outside. Nothing in the softer pacing turns my steady heart aside. Later near the window at the station, office jacket folded on my knees. Colleague shares a list of missed ambitions, measures worth in constant victories. Memory drifts back to last November. Tiny kitchen humming in the dark. Arms wrapped softly around a shaking shoulder, holding ground until the breath came back. If that story carried any label, every line would call that Caroline. Every quiet hour beside that trembling would be counted as a lasting sign. Gentle is how I move forward from this narrow patch of floor. One small glass of water lifted, one slow hand upon the door. Gentle is how I move forward through the noise that waits outside. Nothing in the softer pacing turns my steady heart aside. Turn the strict old timetable to the table. Let the ink blur where it tries to rule. Ask this breathing what would feel like mercy, not the script that never bends a rule. Every time these shoulders soften slowly, every heartbeat lands with quieter sound. Signals rise from somewhere deep and quiet, pointing toward a kinder level ground. Gentle is how I move forward. Hold that sentence in my mind. Pour clear water in a waiting tumbler. Watch the kitchen daylight climb. Gentle is how I move forward. When tomorrow presses in, feet can cross this narrow hallway at a pace that lets me live. If a friend described the same old pressure, every step from bed would shine like treasure. Every moment standing in this light would be proof their courage stayed inside. Quiet confidence feels like this, not a shout across the bridge, just a steady pair of footsteps on the tiles beside the edge. Quiet confidence feels like this, holding ground without a script, nothing grand in how it shows, just a calm unfolding glow. Later near a window at the office, colleague laughs too loudly at the door, says they feel invisible and awkward, fills the silence just to feel adored. Memory drifts back to last September, tiny room and trembling in the dark. Friends sat close without a single lecture, still the air regained a little spark. If that story carried now their label, every line would call that care so stable. All those hours beside a shaking frame would be named a quiet shine and flame. Quiet confidence feels like this, not a shout across the bridge, just a steady pair of footsteps on the tiles beside the edge. Quiet confidence feels like this, holding ground without a script, nothing grand in how it shows, just a calm unfolding glow. Turn the old comparison to silence, let the ink blur on the heavy chart. Asked is breathing what would feel like honest, not the rule that chases every heart. Every time these shoulders drop a little, every heartbeat lands in softer time. Signals rise from somewhere deep and gentle, point toward a life that still is mine. Quiet confidence feels like this, hold that sentence in my chest, pour clear water in a waiting tumbler, watch the hallway sunlight crest. Quiet confidence feels like this, when the next day starts to lift, feet can cross the narrow floor, walking out with something quieter than before. face still half awake. Screen lights up with colored invitations. Every plan demands another pace. Heart beats quicker than the metal shaking. Thoughts spill forward into future hours. Hands rest softly on the silver railing. Wonder if my If a friend described this busy pressure, every minute here would feel like treasure. Every breath they gave this crowded track, I would name as courage holding back. I am worth the time I take, every pause, each careful step I make, every quiet cup beside the sink, every walk alone to stop and think. I am worth the time I take, not a task that someone has to rate. Nothing in this breathing, moving frame needs to rush to justify its name. Later by a bench beside the river, colleague lists a day that runs too thin. Says they hate the way they slow the rhythm. Feels like everyone outruns their skin. Memory drifts back to last November. Tiny kitchen humming in the night, staying there beside a shaking cousin. Turned a heavy hour toward more light. If that story carried now their label, every line would call their heart so able. All those gentle minutes freely shared would be proof they always deeply cared. I am worth the time I take, every pause, each careful step I make, every quiet cup beside the sink, every walk alone to stop and think. I am worth the time I take, not a task that someone has to rate. Nothing in this breathing, moving frame needs to rush to justify its name. Lay the crowded schedule on the table, let the ink blur where it is not stable. Ask this breathing what would feel like mercy, not the rule that nothing can be easy. Every time these shoulders soften slowly, every heartbeat lands with quieter sounds. Signals rise from somewhere deep and tender, pointing toward a kinder, steady ground. I am worth the time I take, hold that sentence when the doubts awake. Pour clear water in a waiting glass, watch the gentle kitchen daylight pass. I am worth the time I take, when tomorrow leans against the gate. Feet can cross the narrow hallway floor, at a pace this heart can carry more. bus rolls slowly past the river. Window frames are facing moving gray. Screen stays quiet somewhere in my pocket. All those little icons left to wait. Heart still carries echoes from the evening. Thoughts spread wider than the winter sky. Hands rest softly on a plastic handle. Breathing finds a slightly deeper line. If a friend described this kind of feeling, every step from bed would shine like proof. I would name the courage in their walking, not the way they tried to disappear in groups. I take up space today on this narrow aisle of painted gray, on this worn out seat beside the glass, on this bit of air where footsteps pass. I take up space today with this nervous heart that still remains. Nothing in this crowded line cancels out my simple right to occupy. Later at a table near the window, coffee raindrops circles on the wood. Coworker admits they keep on shrinking, speaking jokes instead of being understood. Memory drifts back to last November, tiny room and shaking by the sink, arms around a cousin through the midnights, both of us still closer than we think. If that story carried now their label, every note would call their care light. All those hours beside a trembling body would be written down as something bright. I take up space today in this corner where my notebook lays, in this chair that holds my resting frame, in this laugh that does not sound the same. I take up space today with this tired but honest name. Nothing in this ordinary frame takes away my simple right to stay. Fold the old instruction till it blurs all the rules that told this frame to curve. Ask this breathing what would feel like mercy, not the list that keeps erasing me. Every time these shoulders start to loosen, every heartbeat lands with softer sound. Signals rise from somewhere deep and quiet, pointing toward a steadier kind of ground. I take up space today. Hold that sentence in my chest and stay. Pour clear water in a waiting glass, watch the gentle kitchen daylight pass. I take up space today when tomorrow leans along the way. Feet can cross the narrow hallway floor, standing how this frame was always built before. soft across the window. Kettle sings a line along the steam. Phone lies quiet on the wooden table. Group chats glowing far outside this scene. Heart still holds the echo from last evening. Crowded room that felt a little loud. Hands wrapped slowly round a simple mug. Wonder if my softer tone is allowed. If a friend described this kind of tension, I would call that gentle voice a strength. Every time they chose a smaller setting, I would see a grace inside that lane. I can't live in my own volume, not the level strangers choose. Let my laughter find its high, let my silence keep its truth. I can't live in my own volume on this balcony in bloom. Nothing in this steady quiet room makes my presence any less in tune. Later in a meeting by the window, voices climb like towers through the air. Coworker leans over with a whisper, says they feel invisible in there. Memory drifts back to last November. Tiny kitchen humming after dark. Both of us just breathing near the doorway. Still that night regained a little spark. If that story carried now their label, every line would call their care a light. All those hours beside a shaking heartbeat would be counted as a flaming night. I can't live in my own volume, not the level strangers choose. Let my laughter find its high, let my silence keep its truth. I can't live in my own volume on this balcony in bloom. Nothing in this steady quiet room makes my presence any less in tune. Fold the old instructions on the table. Let the ink blur where it tries to rule. Ask this breathing what would feel like honest, not the scale they handed out at school. Every time these shoulders loosen gently, every heartbeat lands in calmer time. Signals rise from somewhere deep and tender, pointing to a rhythm that is mine. I can't live in my own volume. Hold that sentence as I move. Pour clear water in a waiting glass. Watch the gentle kitchen daylight move. I can't live in my own volume when tomorrow shakes the room. Feet can cross this narrow hallway floor, keeping to a tone my spirit can afford. left on red through heavier rotations. Heart feels slower than the ticking clock. Mind runs faster than the hallway walk. Hands stay resting on the bedroom handle. Breath moves gently around a quiet candle. If a friend described this kind of season, every step from sheets would feel like reason. Every shaky moment on this floor would be something I would stand up for. I can trust the way I heal, not the map they try to seal, not the chart of tidy stages, not the ticking of their pages. I can trust the way I heal from the smallness that I feel. Nothing in this trembling chest makes my slower pace less blessed. Later by the window at the station, colleagues pulls a year of expectation, says their grief should already be finished, hides the way the memories still flicker. Thought drifts back to kitchen towels in winter, hands around a mug that shook and shimmered. Sat through storms that had no perfect language, still the night grew softer around that courage. If that story carried their first label, every line would call that heart so able. Every tear that reached the open air would be counted as a movement there. I can trust the way I heal, not the map they try to seal, not the chart of tidy stages, not the ticking of their pages. I can trust the way I heal from the smallness that I feel. Nothing in this trembling chest makes my slower pace less blessed. Instructions on the chair, let the ink blur where it does not care. Ask this breathing what would feel like mercy, not the rule that nothing can be messy. Every time these shoulders soften slowly, every heartbeat lands in quieter stories. Signals rise from somewhere deep and real, pointing to a path my scars reveal. I can trust the way I heal, hold that sentence while I kneel. Pour clear water in a waiting glass, watch the gentle kitchen daylight pass. I can trust the way I heal when the next cold morning steals. Feet can cross the narrow floor again, following the strength the pain has grown within. Morning tram moves slowly by the water. Window holds a faint and tired face. Screen lights up with messages and flyers. Every line invites another race. Heartbeat softer than the station speaker. Thoughts run faster than the silver tracks. Hands rest gently on the metal railing. Breath tries hard to keep the engine back. If a friend described this kind of morning, every step from bed would shine like brave. Every second standing in this carriage would be something I would fight to say. Hope still knows my name, even when the sky tears. Says they feel forgotten by the answers. Wonders if the future ever hears. Memory drifts back to last December. Tiny kitchen humming after 9. Friends sat down with cheap and simple biscuits. Still that sugar turned the air to kind. If that story carried now their label, every line would call that Caroline. All those hours beside a shaking evening would be counted as a star at night. Hope still knows my name, even when the sky leans gray, even when my shoulders carry more than any list can say. Hope still knows my name in the smallest quiet flame. Nothing in this heavy frame makes that gentle signal fade. Lay the dark predictions on the table. Let the ink play where it used to bite. Ask this breathing, will it feel like mercy? Not the rule that ends in lonely night. Every time these shoulders soften slowly, every heartbeat lands in calmer time. Signals rise from somewhere deep and tender, pointing to a thread that still can shine. Hope still knows my name. Hold that sentence in my chest. Pour clear water in a waiting tumbler. Watch the kitchen daylight rest. Hope still knows my name. When tomorrow climbs again, feet can cross the narrow hallway floor, trusting in a light I may not fully see just yet. Morning light leans quiet on the window. Phone face down beside the tangled sheet. Head still full of half-remembered stories, dreams that slip between the city beats. Heart beats faster than the clock that's ticking. Thoughts move further than the bedroom door. Hands stay resting on the cotton pillow. Breath sits shallow just above the floor. If a friend described this heavy weather, every breath from them would look like brave. Every moment staring at the ceiling would be something I would fight to save. I can stay with what I feel, let it rise and let it spill. Let the sadness cross my ribcage like a slow and honest film. I can stay with what I feel, hold it close instead of still. Nothing in this trembling frame turns this tenderness to shame. drifts back to last November. Tiny kitchen humming after night. Arms around a cousin at the sinkage. Both of us just breathing through the time. If that story carried someone's label, every line would name their courage bright. Every tear that reached the open evening would be counted as a step toward light. I can stay with what I feel, let it rise and let it spill. Let the anger cross my ribcage without calling it a sin. I can stay with what I feel, hold it close instead of still. Nothing in this trembling frame turns this tenderness to shame. Lay the strict old rulebook on the dresser, let the ink blur where it used to bite. Ask us breathe in what would feel like mercy, not the law that closes every light. Every time these shoulders soften slowly, every heartbeat lands in quieter sounds. Signals rise from somewhere deep and gentle, pointing to a ground that can be found. I can stay with what I feel, holding sentence as I heal. Pour clear water in a waiting glass, watch the gentle kitchen daylight pass. I can stay with what I feel when the next dark evening kneels. Feet can cross the narrow hallway floor, carrying a heart that runs from less than before. Slips in along the frame. Kettle hums a low and gentle phrase. Screen glows faint with brightly colored headlines. Every square announces some new race. Heart beats quicker than the ticking clock. Thoughts drift further than stay resting on the kitchen counter. Breast sits shallow underneath the laughter. If a friend described this kind of waking, every step from sheets would feel like brave. Every shaking moment Drop the harsh old verdict on the dresser. Let the ink blur where it used to bite. Asked us breathing what would feel like mercy, not the rule that never leaves respite. Every time these shoulders soften slowly, every heartbeat lands in calmer time. Signals rise from somewhere deep and quiet, pointing to a life that still is mine. I made it here again today. Hold that sentence in this space. Pour clear water in a waiting tumbler. Watch the kitchen daylight trace. I made it here again today. When tomorrow starts to blaze, feet can cross the narrow hallway floor with the strength that lived through many yesterdays. Morning walls like sideways through the glass. Keeps it waiting near the folded mask. Screen shows routes and colored notifications. Every map demands a firm direction. Heart beats louder than the kettle hiss. Thoughts jump forward to the things I'll miss. Hands rest lightly on the kitchen chair. Wonder if it's wrong to not know where. If a friend described this messy season, every breath they take would count as reason. Every time they shrugged and said not sure, I would see a courage running pure. I don't have to have it figured out. Every city, every route, every doubt. I can make a breakfast in this light without knowing where I'll sleep at night. I don't have to have it figured out. Plans can change and stonehouse sound. Nothing in this half-drawn fragile line takes away the right to call it mine. Every time these shoulders soften slowly, every heartbeat lands in gentler time. Signals rise from somewhere deep and quiet, pointing to a life still on its climb. I don't have to have it figured out. Hold that sentence when the doubts grow loud. Pour clear water in a waiting glass. Watch the gentle kitchen daylight pass. I don't have to have it figured out. When tomorrow leans against the house, feet can cross the narrow hallway floor. With a heart that trusts not knowing so much more. Voices waiting somewhere in my head. Heartbeats quicker than the kettle whisper. Thoughts race ahead to everything undone. Hands rest lightly on the chipped old table, watching how the day has just begun. Describe this quiet. Every breath they took would feel like gold. Every step from blanket to the kitchen would be something precious to behold. This moment counts as living, even in a wrinkled shirt, even with a tired forehead, even with a heart that hurts. This moment counts as living, standing barefoot on this floor. Nothing has to look heroic to be something worth much more. Later at a bench beside the corner, traffic hums beneath a winter sky. Coworker unloads a stack of worries, thinks a life is measured only high. Memory drifts back to narrow evenings, kitchen tiles and shaking by the sink. Two small mugs and quiet conversation turned a brittle hour toward the brink. If that story carried someone's label, every line would praise that gentle care. All those hours spent in faith checklist on the dresser. Let the ink blur where it tries to shout. Ask this breathing what would feel like mercy, not the script that claims the lights are out. Every time these shoulders soften slowly, every heartbeat lands in gentler time. Signals rise from somewhere deep and quiet, pointing to a life that still is mine. This moment counts as living. Hold that sentence in my chest. Pour clear water in a waiting tumbler. Watch the kitchen daylight rest. This moment counts as living. When tomorrow knocks once more, feet can cross the narrow hallway, knowing I have stood here many times before. Harvest doors release a tired river, people spill into the neon blue. Bus stop glass reflects a worn-out stranger, holding bags and half-finished news. Heart feels heavier than evening traffic. Thoughts run further than the headlights stream. Hands wrap gently round the fraying shoulder, waiting while the crosswalk shifts to green. If a friend described this quiet walking, every step from desk to corner light would become a sign of hidden courage, not a failure drifting through the night. The city feels a little softer when I let my breathing lead, when I choose a slower crossing, when I give my aching knees a seat. The city feels a little softer when I speak to myself like a friend. Nothing in these blinking windows needs an answer I cannot send. Later in a small late open market, fluorescent rows of cartons, jars and tea. Neighbor picks up lemons for tomorrow, tells a joke that shakes the heaviness from me. Heart remembers narrow winter kitchens, shaking hands around a steaming cup. Someone stayed until the ceiling loosened, until night allowed the corners to look up. If that story carried now their label, every line would call that Caroline. All those hours beside a restless rhythm would be counted as a lantern bright. The city feels a little softer when I let my breathing lead, when I choose a slower crossing, when I give my aching knees a seat. The city feels a little softer when I speak to myself like a friend. Nothing in these blinking windows needs an answer I cannot send. Fold the urgent headlines in my pocket. Let the ink blur where it used to bite. Ask this breathing what would feel like mercy, not the rule that everything must shine. Every time these shoulders start to lower, every heartbeat lands in calmer time. Signals rise from somewhere deep and quiet, pointing to a different way to shine. The city feels a little softer. Hold that sentence in my chest. Pour clear water in a waiting tumbler. Watch reflections settle into rest. The city feels a little softer when tomorrow hums along the tracks. Feet can cross the narrow hallway floor, carrying a gentler view to bring back. Morning light falls gentle on the frame. Old regrets wake up and say my name. Screen shows memories from distant seasons. Little squares replay forgotten reasons. Heartbeats quicker than the kettle's steam. Thoughts run back through every broken scene. Hands rest softly on the kitchen chair. Wonder if those chapters keep me there. If a friend stood here with this same story, every line from me would guard their glory. Every step from pillow to this floor, walk past and I would fight for more. My past does not decide today, not the only word to say. All those nights on narrow tiles do not cancel present miles. My past does not decide today, it can speak but not hold sway. Nothing in those heavy frames takes away this living flame. Later on a bench beside moments in this space. Pour clear water in a waiting glass. Watch the gentle kitchen daylight pass. My past is not decide today. When tomorrow leads my way, feet can cross the narrow hallway floor, stepping through a door not tied to before. Shows maps in colored little circles. Every route insists on something certain. Heart beats quicker than the kettle steam. Thoughts drift far beyond this narrow street. Hands rest softly on the chipped old counter. Breath stays shallow kitchen heat. If a friend described this restless season, every step from sheets would count as reason. Every moment standing on this floor would be something I would guard and hold. Small tomorrows still belong to me. Feel incomplete. I can buy a ticket for one station without naming every distant dream. Small tomorrows still belong to me. Even when my hands shake at the key, nothing in this half-drawn tender takes away the right to call them mine. Later by the window near the terminal, colleague lists a year of tangled tries. Says each change must come with perfect timing. Fears that missing one will close the sky. Memory drifts back to winter kitchens. Quiet chair beside a shaking frame. Sat beside that night with simple breathing. Turned a brittle hour toward a flame. If that story carried now their label, every line would call that care a light. All those hours walking without answers would be counted as a way through night. Small tomorrows still belong to me. Even when the path is hard to see, I can pack a sandwich for this journey without knowing every place I leave. Small tomorrows still belong to me. Even when my faith comes carefully, nothing in this half-drawn tender line takes away the right to call them mine. Lay the strict predictions on the table. Let the ink blur where it tried to rule. past this breathing, what would feel like mercy? Not the chart they handed out at school. Every time these shoulders soften slowly, every heartbeat lands in gentler time. Signals rise from somewhere deep and quiet, pointing toward a future that is mine. Small tomorrows still belong to me. Hold that sentence underneath this beat. Pour clear water in a waiting glass. Watch the gentle kitchen daylight pass. Small tomorrows still belong to me. When the next cold morning taps the street, feet can cross the narrow hallway floor, walking into days I do not need to know before. Morning light climbs slowly up the wall. Steam from cups drips quiet in the hall. Screen shows houses, oceans, distant cities. Every frame suggests a bigger story. Heart beats quicker than the kettle song. Thoughts run out to futures far and long. Hands rest softly on the chipped white counter. Wonder what could honestly belong here. If a friend described this restless beating, every breath from them would feel like gold. Every step from blanket into slippers would be something I would want to hold. I can build a life that fits my hands, not a copy of every shining plan. Just a table with a second chair, just a plant that leans toward gentle air. I can build a life that fits my hands, day by day without a perfect map. Nothing in the small or quiet span makes it any less a life that stands. Later by a window near the tram, colleague spreads a year across their lap. Says they waited for a grand arrival, never noticed all the small survival. Heart remembers winter kitchen tiles, nervous jokes through long and fragile miles. Someone stayed with late night conversation, turned a shaking hour toward foundation. If that scene belonged to any stranger, every line would praise that steady care. All those evenings near a trembling doorway would be counted as a lantern there. I can build a life that fits my hands, not a copy of every shining plan. Just a notebook by the window rail, just a song that hums along the rail. I can build a life that fits my hands, mercy checklist on the table. Let the ink blur where it tried to rule. Ask this breathing what would feel like mercy, not the chart they passed around at school. Every time these shoulders soften gently, every heartbeat lands in calmer time. Signals rise from somewhere deep and tender, pointing to a path that can be mine. I can build a life that fits my hands. Hold that sentence while I slowly stand. Pour clear water in a waiting glass. Watch the gentle kitchen daylight pass. I can build a life that fits my hands. When tomorrow presses new demands, feet can cross the narrow hallway floor, trusting in the shape I am allowed to form. Softly on the door, mug sits waiting on the wooden floor. Screen shows lines from yesterday's discussions, every thread replays in quiet motion. Heart beats faster than a ticking clock. Thoughts move further than the hallway walk. Hands rest gently on the faded counter. Breaths stay shallow, searching for an answer. If a friend described this heavy weather, every step from sheets would feel like treasure. Every shaking moment by the sink would be something I would guard, I think. So I will change the way I talk to me, like a patient voice beside the sea. I will name this standing in the doorway as a kind of brave that finds its own way. So I will change the way I talk to me, let my words grow softer, slowly free. Nothing in this trembling morning frame needs a sentence made of blame. Later by a window near the station, colleague spills a year of expectations, says their thoughts speak only in corrections, never leave a little room for questions. start to lower, every heartbeat landing slightly slower. Signals rise from somewhere deep and clear, pointing toward a kinder script in here. So I will change the way I talk to me. Hold that phrase beneath his heartbeat. Pour clear water in a waiting glass. Watch the gentle kitchen daylight pass. So I will change the way I talk to me. When tomorrow leans against the street, feet can cross the narrow hallway space with a voice that walks in grace. Screen shows faces framed in brighter colors. Every postage just a smoother summer. Heart beats quicker than the ticking clock. Thoughts move further than the hallway walk. Hands stay resting on the kitchen counter. Breath sits shallow in quiet thunder. If a friend described this kind of weather, every breath from them would count as clever. Every moment standing by this sink would be something I would guard, I think. My feelings are welcome here, every shade from calm to fear, every tear that finds a corner, every smile that feels uncertain. My feelings are welcome here, they can sit and they can clear. Nothing in this trembling chest makes emotions any less. Later on a bench beside the station, coffee cooling in a paper rain. Coworker unloads a week of heartache, hides the hurt behind a practiced grin. Memory drifts back to winter evenings, tiny kitchen humming after 9. Arms around a cousin near the doorway, turned a brittle hour toward more kind. If that story carried now their label, every line would call that care so stable. All those hours beside that shaken frame would be counted as a gentle flame. My feelings are welcome here, every shade from calm to fear, every tear that finds a corner, every smile that feels uncertain. My feelings are welcome here, they can sit and they can clear. Nothing in this trembling chest makes emotions any less. Lay the strict old rule book on the dresser, let let the ink blur where it used to press. Ask this breathing what would feel like mercy, not the law that pushes down each mess. Every time these shoulders soften slowly, every heartbeat lands in quieter sound. Signals rise from somewhere deep and tender, pointing to a safer piece of ground. My feelings are welcome here. Hold that sentence when they near. Pour clear water in a waiting glass. Watch the gentle kitchen daylight pass. My feelings are welcome here. When the next dark hour appears, feet can cross the narrow hallway floor with a heart that hides a little less than before. Morning glows the kitchen table, laptop hung beneath a fragile chin. Inbox fills with tiny blinking symbols. Every subject line invites me in. Heart beats quicker than the ticking meter. Thoughts run far beyond this quiet room. Hands curl gently round the chipped white mug. Breath stays shallow under all this tune. If a friend described this kind of morning, every breath from them would count as brave. Every pause before replying quickly would be something I would rush to save. Not every question needs an answer, not every message needs a line. I can let one bubble fade to later, I can let the clock forget this time. Not every doorway needs my footsteps, not every doubt deserves a stage. I can close the screen and watch the steam rise while this tiny world resets its pace. Later on a bench beside the crosswalk, a coworker unloads a list of strain. Says they feel responsible for everything. Reads each silence as a kind of blame. Memory drifts back to winter evenings. Narrow room and shaking by the sink. Someone sat and let the quiet linger. Turned a crowded storm toward space to think. If that story carried now their label, every line would call that Caroline. All those hours with no solutions spoken would be counted as a star at night. Not every question needs an answer, not every message needs a line. I can let one bubble fade to later, I can let the clock forget this time. Not every doorway needs my footsteps, not every doubt deserves a stage. I can close the screen and watch the steam rise while this tiny world resets its pace. the strict old rule book on the dresser. Let the ink blur where it used to bite. Ask this breathing what would feel like mercy, not the script that keeps me up all night. Every time these shoulders soften slowly, every heartbeat lands in gentler sound. Signals rise from somewhere deep and tender, pointing toward a kinder common ground. Not every question needs an answer. Hold that sentence in my chest. Pour clear water in a waiting tumbler. Watch a gentle kitchen daylight rest. Not every doorway needs my footsteps. Not every doubt deserves the stage. Feet can cross this narrow hallway floor now at a pace my living soul can safely take. Spill slowly on the screen. Inbox filled with neatly stacked routines. Tiny boxes wait for color ticking. Every line expects a perfect filling. Heart beats faster than the ticking clock. Jaw feels tighter than the hallway walk. Hands rest shaking on the desk edge wooden. Breath feels smaller than these daily summons. If a friend is wrapped this kind of pressure, every breath they took would feel like treasure. Every step from pillow to this chair would be something I would guard with care. I am more than what I do, more than lists that all stay blue, more than every finished project, more than every small neglect. I am more than what I do, than the days that fall askew. Nothing in this busy view takes the quiet truth from who sits through. Later by a window, neighbors stare. Colleague drops a pile of hidden cares. Says their worth feels tied to every outcome. Counts the task complete and never how come. Memory drifts back to winter tiles. Tiny kitchen laid in brittle miles. Friends sat close with hands around a kettle. Stayed until the air grew slightly gentle. If that story carried now their label, every line would call that heart so able. All those evenings near a shaken frame will be counted as a gentle flame. I am more than what I do, more than lists that all stay blue, more than ink blur where it tried to label. Ask this breathing what would feel like mercy, not the rule that turns each hour into duty. Every time these shoulders soften slowly, every heartbeat lands in calmer story. Signals rise from somewhere deep and true, pointing past the task towards something new. I am more than what I do. Hold that sentence as I move. Pour clear water in a waiting glass. Watch the gentle kitchen daylight pass. I am more than what I do. When the next long day comes through, feet can cross the narrow hallway floor, carrying the worth not measured anymore. Morning hums softly through the meadow. Window frame a face that looks half here. Screen lights up with brightly colored updates, all demanding one more busy gear. Heart beats quicker than the station speaker. Thoughts run further than the silver tracks. Hands rest gently on the cold steel railing. Breath tries hard to bring the senses back. If a friend described this weight and weather, every step from bed would shine as brave. Every pause before the rush of traffic would be something worth the space it takes. My body knows the pace I need. Slower steps along the street. One small message sent with care. One deep lung full of the air. My body knows the pace I need, not the timing on a screen. Nothing in the shutter speed makes this quiet living weak. Later near a window at the office, colleague spills a week of his strain. Says their pulse keeps racing past the limit. Still they push through every single lane. Memory drifts to narrow winter kitchens. Fingers wrapped around a trembling cup. Stayed beside that chair through endless minutes, till the shaken breathing loosened up. If that story carried now, strict schedule on the table. Let the ink blur where it used to roll. Ask this breathing what would feel like mercy, not the chart they handed out at school. Every time these shoulders soften slowly, every heartbeat lands in gentler sound. Signals rise from somewhere deep and tender, pointing toward a kinder piece of ground. My body knows the pace I need. Hold that sentence while I breathe. Pour clear water in a waiting glass. Watch the gentle kitchen daylight pass. My body knows the pace I need.